Watcher, welcome to your weekly Wednesday dose of Tyrrell time. Hope you're all keeping exceptionally well. Sorry, I got distracted there for a moment by some bizarre insect buzzing around. Um, Everyone continues to be unhappy. We continue to be completely indifferent to the suffering of the masses. We've already been through the news and whatnot last time out. Good news is we've turned ourselves a little bit of a cheeky profit. We also managed to secure the most important deal of the season, which is a 2-year partnership deal with Mugen Honda. Now we're sort of hoping to butter them up a little bit and get ourselves some bonuses, maybe a guarantee, as we will be paying for our tyres and fuel for 1 season. We also signed a 3-season deal with Komatsu for 900,000. Again, going to try and bump that sum up a little bit. And what I'd really like to do is close out these two deals with Patronus and PlayStation, respectively. With that in mind, we're back on the hospitality train, as minorly effective as it's going to be, because, well, I just think it might help. We still are in control of 70% of the team, which is way more than I anticipated at the outset here. We have to shift some cars about. Let's knock out some spare parts really quick. Now we have one more round of development time to go into next year's car. Takes us to round 13. And then that leaves us 3 rounds remaining, so we have 1 round for the final design stage. Sorry, you won't know what I'm talking about. So we fully completed the first stage, obviously really important. Didn't get as far as I'd hoped with the CFD simulation phase. We'll complete round 12, taking us to round 13. Round 13 to 14, we will complete the wind tunnel stage, so we'll get 1 round of testing in the wind tunnel. And then we have 2 rounds with which to build 2 cars for next year. Obviously, next year's car is going to be a steaming pile of garbage, but we did the best that we could. We started early, we made the best of a bad job. We've got some new gizmos on the way to the factory, a state-of-the-art CAD system and a state-of-the-art CAM system, which will help us immensely in taking steps forward. You don't have to start with CAD and CAM. You could very easily have gone down the supercomputer stage, but that, like, the supercomputer and the testing rig mostly help with testing and supercomputer with design somewhat. But really, I'm just focusing on our ability to design parts faster and to produce things quicker. The workshop would also have, to some limited extent, help with that, but primarily the workshop actually handles how efficient your mechanics are. And the wind tunnel is the most expensive upgrade, and it's probably the last thing we're going to add alongside the testing rig, because the testing rig obviously requires that we produce a 4th car. Right, speaking of cars, let's repair the race damage, but not the wear, on cars 1 and 2, and then we'll put those back in the hands of our drivers. Aim again is for Rosset to not qualify because, well, fuck that guy. So he'll be running with a 34% 1 car. Toru Takagi will take the 10% 1 car, and then the 67% 1 car will be in the hands of Andrea Montemini, the world's laziest test driver. I tell you what, though, he's got really good at a Rubik's Cube, that boy. We have no setup points to spend because that's not for the likes of us. Right then, let's see if we can achieve anything but shame. 31 degrees, very dry for qualifying. That's very warm. We will be running Rosset on rain tyres because, well, because. Unfortunately, he fails to qualify. However, who doesn't fail is Mika Hakkinen. He takes pole for McLaren on 1:17.688, ahead of the Williams of Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who has an excellent showing, 1:17.746. He's only marginally ahead of Michael Schumacher's Ferrari, 1:17.786. Very tight at the top. Coulthard and Irvine are also within the 1:17.7s. Alexander Wurz takes 6 for Benetton. Sauber out-qualified both Jordans in a step forward for them. Otherwise, it's business as usual at the back of the grid. Giancarlo Fisichella is excluded from quali. We don't know why. Rosset failed to qualify, and we split the Minardis, which is, as good as we could hope for, really. Slightly cool temperatures and a strong wind for the Grand Prix. That will actually help engine power, but I don't think that's going to be enough to really turn things around for us. At least it's not going to rain. We'll start on some scrub tyres with Nakano. Not Nakano, that's next year, with Takagi, and see if that maybe helps him get off the line. And then fresh boots for his second and third stint. Boom, goes the dynamite. David Coulthard takes the win, 1:46.53.985, ahead of teammate Mika Hakkinen, so it's a McLaren 1-2. Frentzen rounding off the podium for Williams, and then it's Ferrari with the remaining points. Johnny Herbert Sauber converts a strong qualifying performance into a 7th place. No points for that at this point, though. Hill, Salo, and Ralf Schumacher round out your top 10. A driver error takes Toru Takagi out of the Grand Prix. That really sucks because that means we've got a damaged car again. Also lost are both Prosts with brake failures on both cars. An accident took out Alexander Wurz and Esteban Tuero, and a suspension failure knocked Jean Alesi's Sauber out of the running, making Shinji Nakano your last qualified finisher 3 laps down. I've just knocked my cola everywhere. But you don't care about that. You want to know where the standings are. 73 points leads the way for Mika Hakkinen. He's currently top of the proverbial pile, ahead of David Coulthard and Michael Schumacher, Fisichella, Newhouse, and Frentzen. In the constructors, it's a McLaren washout, really. 122 points to Ferrari's 56. However, it's all to play for second place, with a very tight battle between Ferrari, Williams and Benetton, and I'm secretly rooting for Benetton just because it shakes things up a wee bit. Right then, we made a quite substantial loss at that Grand Prix, about $400,000. That's not fun. Also, PlayStation have signed a contract with somebody else. Really bad news for us. Really bad news. I'm going to bump to 45% our staff commitment to Petronas, and we'll take the remaining 20%, and I'm going to try and pick up a bottom of the pile budget sponsor, like Pearl maybe, or and then we tried to go for non-European, maybe Telecom Argentina is a opportunity. Yeah, let's go for Telecom Argentina. The chances are unlikely. Still no bonuses on the Mugen Honda deal, which again worries me. Do we have any bonuses on the Komatsu deal? No, of course not. I'm going to drop that to 5%, and I'm going to drop another 5% up here. The Petronas deal we really cannot afford to lose now, which is why I'm focusing so strongly on it. And I'll knock Telecom Argentina down to 15% to again boost what we get from Mugen Honda. In terms of hospitality, Petronas and Mugen Honda are the obvious choices. We will also be bringing along now Telecom Argentina in the vague hope that we earn ourselves a little bit of grace and favour. Let's check out the news. David Coulthard won. The rest is bad news about us. So Giancarlo Fisichella was excluded. The Benetton running an illegal driver aid. Naughty boys. Jordan will be running with works supply of Goodyear tyres. Ferrari got 2 cars in the top 6. Benetton have signed a deal with Mechachrome as a customer. That's a step back. And PlayStation have signed with Williams at the last minute, distancing themselves from us. Sauber and Goodyear have entered into a partnership. Likewise, it's a partner fuel supply from Agip for Stewart. Eddie Irvine picked up the fastest lap. Arrows have picked up YKK. Ferrari have signed with BIC. Computer Associates will stay on at McLaren. Minardi have signed a deal with General Electric Corporation. We signed Komatsu, and Prost have signed Hugo Boss as a sponsor. We continue to not test, and we remain the least popular boy at the party. Never mind. Let's take a look at the staffing situation. There's no new bods to hire in commercial, just mechanics. I'm going to make a quick delve and see if... No, the headhunter cannot find anything. That sucks. Really wanted to have some more commercial and design staff on board. Yeah, never mind. Right then, we have some changes to make. First of all, next year's car, we have to complete... first of all, we have to hire a wind tunnel. That's an expensive hobby. And we will put everything into wind tunnel testing for next year's car. We will also have to produce spare parts. This is why I'm super annoyed about Takagi crashing his car, because it's going to set us back in terms of having our cars ready to run the next Grand Prix. What I'm going to do is repair the wear, nice, on car 3 and put that in the hands of Takagi. And then we shouldn't have to build spare parts for the next 2 Grand Prix, and maybe that gets us through to the end of the season and enables us to build both cars. I'm really hoping we can sweeten things with Mugen, but it's looking increasingly unlikely. We will survive next year, I think, but it's going to be tight. Again, no new specifications of anything. We're going to be suffering the same next year, but at least Takagi has a showroom quality car underneath him. Let's see what we can do here. So, off to Spa. It's 19 degrees and cloudy. That could indicate changeable conditions. Same story as last time. We're going to not qualify with Rosset. See how we do. Mika Hakkinen takes another pole ahead of teammate David Coulthard. Eddie Evans Ferrari takes third. Frentzen leads a Williams 4-5. Schumacher lines up 6 for Ferrari. Then it's the Benettons of Fisichella and Wirtz, respectively, followed by Pedro Diniz's Arrows and John Alace's Sauber. The Jordans continue to gradually slide down the field like a cheap hooker on a pole. Ricardo Rosset fails to qualify, and Toru Takagi is the slowest runner by quite some way, and I think that's because we put the wrong tyres on. Never mind that, though. 22 degrees dry with a very strong wind for the Grand Prix, so a slight improvement in temperature. And it's going to be fresh boots for every stage here. So Mika Hakkinen is your race winner in Spa on a 1:26.00904. Johnny Newhouse takes second for Williams, and it's another podium for Benetton with Giancarlo Fisichella taking third. A hell of a display from Pedro Diniz as he brings his Arrows home in 4th position. Well done indeed. And Schumacher leads Irvine for the final 2 points paying positions. Just missing out is the second Benetton of Alex Wirtz and the Sauber of Jean Alesi. Toru Takagi does finish the Grand Prix 2 laps down, but at least we don't have any damage to worry about. Ralf Schumacher failed to make the finish due to suspension failure. A double DNF in the last Grand Prix for Olivier Panis' Prost with an accident. Esteban Tuero had an engine failure in his Minardi, as did Heinz-Harald Frentzen with his Williams, and a brake failure took David Coulthard out of the running for McLaren. That allows Mika Schumacher to extend his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship, 83 points to David Coulthard's 49. Michael Schumacher holding on in third on 41. Pedro Diniz jumps up to equal his teammate Mika Salo for 3 points apiece, sharing P11. In terms of the constructors, Arrows jump clear of Sauber by an even bigger margin now, 6 points to 2. I think that should probably guarantee them 6th position. McLaren obviously have won the constructors, not much else to talk about there, but Williams look to be wrapping their fingers a little tighter around 2nd position. Ferrari and Benetton separated by 3 points. Okay, do we have any news at all? Excellent. So we have got an improved deal from Mugen Honda. It's not guaranteed, but they're offering us 250,000. That's better than a kick in the balls. The Patronus deal has moved up one as well. That's also good news. No improvement on the Komatsu deal. But we can get a one-season deal with Telecom Argentina. Unlikely to actually sign that now, with 2 rounds to go. So what I'm going to actually do is focus on improving the Komatsu deal. I just wanted to see what was on offer and whether it was worth chasing, but it really isn't. And I'm going to split the remaining 5% between Patronus and Mugen Honda. Let's kick those boys out, and we will invite Komatsu to the Italian Grand Prix. Another significant loss for the team. Not surprising. I'm going to sell out another 5%. In terms of design, we are ready to get on with next year's car. Obviously, it's going to be shit, but not much we can really do about that. And I'm going to start work on our first driver aid because we've got 2 rounds with nothing to do. I'm going to go for active suspension. It's highly unlikely we'll finish it, but it's better than nothing. Right, let's see if we can't build ourselves some cars. It's getting expensive. Okay, so we have 1 car for next year. That gives us a little bit of breathing room. I'm pleased that we were able to get that done. On the staffing situation, still no good news. In fact, we've lost a star worker. We'll take on an apprentice. In the design office, still no good news. And in the world of construction, there is no one coming out to play. We can hire some mechanics though, and we might as well take on 2 very good ones. Okay, jobbed, as it were. Nothing else left to do, except say thank you very much for joining me. I hope all of you have had the best week humanly possible. We will talk again at the weekend. I'm going to be live later today with probably some Banner Saga or some or an F1 career mode update. There hasn't been any F1 career mode for a little bit now, and I will explain to you why then. What else is going on? I had to pause there and think. The Sauber playthrough and more Tyrrell time will be hitting you this weekend. Normally that would come out on a Friday, but I have a prior engagement. I'm sorry about that. It's been a very busy week this week. I hope you're not all feeling neglected. I will make it up to you, I promise. Yeah, so there will be some F1 2019 stuff coming your way as well. There will also be some Banner Saga at some point because I'm keen to get through those games. And maybe something else if there's time. Who even knows? Guys, please do take care, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye, Z's.